the camera?
One. It's that camera right there.
Hello, welcome to KENSHOQUEST.
Good morning, everybody, or good evening, wherever you are in the world.
I'm Heidi.
I'm George.
We're a traveling family, and we like to share tips to help you plan an amazing trip to Japan. Today in this live Q&A, we're going to be answering your questions about Japan travel. But first, before we get started, I have a couple questions to ask you. You can put your responses in the chat box. The first question we have for all of you is we want to know, what is your main reason or draw for going to Japan? Why are you headed to Japan? Is it for culture, either ancient or traditional or pop culture? Are you going for the food? Are you going for nature? Perhaps are you going to go bicycling or hiking? Let us know in the chat box. And also at this time, if you can tell us if you can hear us okay.
Oh.
Were you getting a reverb echo there?
Yeah, there might have been some echo. Sorry. Let us know how the audio is as well.
So if you can be dropping in the chat box your main reason for why you're planning a trip to Japan. This live will be recorded and it will be available later to watch on our KENSHOQUEST channel. Just the comments chat box takes a while to process and show up. We like to keep our lives to about 1 hour, so we'll answer as many questions as we can during that time. But if we don't get to your question, then you can always leave a question on one of our videos on our KENSHOQUEST channel. It helps if you put it as a brand new question, not a sub underneath somebody else's comment. And then also, if you ask just one question at a time, that can help us to get back to you faster.
Yes, and then also when you leave a question, can you please start it with a Q, colon, so we know it's a question and we can try to get to it, because unfortunately we don't usually get to every question and sometimes we accidentally skip over some because there's so many, but we'll do our best.
Okay, so some of the answers coming in is, I'm really into the automotive culture. Okay, that's cool. There's definitely some museums and places to check out.
I'll just mention really quickly, in Nagoya, they have the Toyota Museum. You got to go there.
Tea okonomiyaki while riding the bullet train. So you get food and bullet train.
All right.
Thanks for letting us know that you can hear us. Language immersion and cultural exploration. That's great.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, those are great.
Oh, a textile tour in Kyoto. Maybe put some more information about that.
Yeah, give us more information.
I'd be interested in hearing more about that. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, we plan to do a lot more cultural experiences on the channel coming up within the next year as we explore a lot of Japan coming up this year.
And we have all of the above. Going for culture, sightseeing, and food. Another one, culture, food, and nature. So pretty much everything. Old Japan, the gardens, temples, and learning the language. Those are things that we really enjoy as well. Okay, so second question for all of you that are joining us on the live is, what was the most difficult part of planning your Japan trip? What did you find the most challenging? Was it choosing which cities to go to? Was it planning your itinerary for a specific city? Was it figuring out the transportation and trains? You know, what was the hardest thing for you when planning for your Japan trip? Oh, somebody's going as their engagement trip. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Sorry about the microphone speaking into the screen there.
Okay, we have more responses coming in. That food, culture, religious. Okay, so somebody, their challenge is to go solo. It's interesting for us to start to know that we do have a big chunk of our audience that are solo travelers. So that's good for us to keep in mind, that we can hopefully share tips that will be helpful to you.
And as a woman, I can tell you right now, I'm not a woman, obviously, but Japan is just so safe. You will just feel safe everywhere. And, you know, we've had a lot of questions actually from women regarding that. I think it'll be fine. We're going to make more content on that, but please feel free to ask any type of questions regarding any type of travel.
Okay, so figuring out how to get around Yokohama. I will be making like a one-day itinerary for Yokohama while we're there.
And real quickly on Yokohama, Yokohama is actually very walkable for all the main places that you want to be in the downtown local area, and it's super clean because they've totally revitalized the waterfront area. So it's very nice.
Somebody has challenged with finding airfare on JAL. That's our preferred airline, Japan Airlines, but there are other really good ones. Basically, if you choose one of the Asian airlines, they tend to be a step up from flying an American airline.
For sure. Not to rip on that, but it's so true.
Understanding Shinjuku Station. Okay, we do plan to make more information about riding trains.
Yeah, just real quickly on the Shinjuku Station one is, if you're going to be going through Shinjuku Station, just think about where you need to get to, and then you can try to avoid the madness because it's such a massive station. If you can try to go to where you want to be, then you can hopefully avoid the crazier parts of it. All right.
Okay, so just a couple more train transportation. Please check out our channel, KENSHOQUEST, because we do have quite a few videos about trains. Also, hotel planning on Tokyo. George's most recent video was about choosing a Tokyo hotel, so a lot of good resources there. Congratulations to those of you going as your honeymoon. And then questions about eSIM, taxi, IC cards. He has videos on all of those topics as well that can help you out. Bring mosquito repellent or buy it. Okay, I think we're getting into like the questions
Yes.
now. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead
So
and pull up
regarding
some
all
questions.
those, go ahead and ask your question if you have a specific one as well, and we'll just try to get to as quickly as we can.
Can you start pulling up questions?
Sure. All right. I just want to try to get to these.
We're just going to scroll back to the start of the questions. So if you're putting a question in now, if you can start with Q, just so that we realize that it's a question.
Okay, honestly, I don't know which ones to start now because we got so many in here. So I'm just going to start from the top here and work our way down. Actually, I'm going to start from, yeah, because they're just keep coming up here. Okay, really quickly. Hi, Jackie. Your question is Shinkansen, how to buy tickets. So there are multiple ways how to buy Shinkansen tickets. I think that it depends on where you're going, first of all, okay? Because the way Japan is set up is there are six or seven different JR companies, and you can buy tickets from each of them, actually, depending on where you're going. So if you are heading to the most popular area, let's say from between Osaka and Kyoto and Tokyo, those three regions, then you are going to be riding on something called the Tokaido Shinkansen. Okay, and so you want to buy your tickets through a couple of places. The easiest way is online, either through Klook.com or through smartex.com. Those are so SmartEX is the official website, and that is actually the first one I would recommend if you cannot buy from there, because a lot of people do have issues with their credit card, or sometimes their app just doesn't even work in some countries. Then use Klook. Klook works for everybody. So those are the two best options. And if you don't want to buy it ahead on time, you can buy it on arrival at the station. You can also buy it in other places, but the easiest place is to buy it at the station if you don't buy it ahead on time. But we always recommend buy them online ahead of time. It's just going to save you a lot of stress, you know. So again, Klook is very easy to use, but SmartEX is actually the slickest system if it will actually work for you.
I just dropped a link into the chat box to our video on how to buy Shinkansen tickets. So that video takes you step by step, showing you how to buy them at a machine at the station, how to buy them on Klook, and also the other options as well. So if you watch that video, it hopefully should answer all your questions.
And I just mentioned the from Tokyo on west, that continues all the way to Fukuoka, by the way. If you were heading north and east, let's say from Tokyo all the way up to anywhere towards Hokkaido, that region is JR East. You need to use what's called an eki.net website, or again, you can purchase those on Klook. And then if you're heading to Kanazawa, same thing. It's either JR East or on Klook would be your best options for that. All right, and Jackie, you have another related question, and that would be, would it be worth getting the regional Kansai Hiroshima 5-day pass if staying in Osaka, Kyoto? It really depends. So if you can do the traveling within those 5 days, that's the first thing you need to take into consideration. And if you're going to be going to any other places, because that regional pass is a very good pass and it covers a wide area. So you need to look at the cost. Is it going to be cost effective for me? If you add in a couple more stops, then it absolutely would be. But if you're only going to go to Hiroshima and back, maybe not. So you need to think about that.
All the passes really pay off when you really use them. So if you look at what the pass covers and see if you can use it to its full extent.
And good morning from Sam. It is easy to redeem. Is it easy to redeem train tickets purchased online or through Klook, traveling with 3 kids?
Most of the tickets on Klook now, it depends exactly where you're traveling, but most of them are just QR code tickets. So you no longer have to go to the machine and redeem them for paper tickets. You will just have them on your smartphone and be able to scan that QR code right at the ticket gate. And again, that video I linked to how to purchase Shinkansen tickets, we show going through the gate with the kids that you can scan the QR code for your child's ticket, have them walk through, scan it for any other members of your family, and then scan your QR code last while you walk through. But it depends which region of Japan. I think they've expanded it, so most of the Klook tickets are now the QR code tickets.
Which is really nice. And by the way, each person who has a ticket requires a QR code. So when you go through the process of redeeming them, make sure you have a QR code for each person. Everyone needs their own QR code. So you just need to look through the app to find it.
And then depending on their age, if they're 5 or younger, they won't need a ticket unless you want them to have their own reserved seat on the Shinkansen. And then child tickets are ages 6 to 11 years old, so those are reduced price.
Good morning, Kim. Also, could you please outline the rules for bringing our doctor-prescribed medications into Japan, or point us to an understandable website? So we're going to have to link you to that. So we would only know from our home country, which is the United States, where we can link to the embassy. There are specific forms that you do need to fill out for prescriptions, because you want to make sure that it's even allowed into the country. Go ahead.
So 1 is your medication allowed, and then 2, I think the standard amount is like 2 months supply you can bring in. So if you're going for a long trip, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
it could
even be 30
days.
days.
Be 1 month.
Yeah.
So 1 is the medication allowed, and then two is if you're trying to bring more than what's generally allowed, you might have to apply for permission to bring additional. I'll try to find the 2 websites that we have referring to the medication rules, because it is complicated.
Right. So that's something we try not to get into too much, because each case is separate. So I would be very careful about the information that you gather, and always try to get anything regarding prescriptions from the official site, because the last thing you want is to get wrong information and then be held up at customs when you arrive.
Okay, so I linked to 2 websites. One is a US government website about bringing medicine to Japan, and the other is the Japanese website that addresses that. So those are good places to start. And sorry, we haven't personally done any of the ones where we applied for bringing additional medication.
And a separate question, can you point us to one of your videos about the new passport immigration information to pre-register with one of the government agencies to expedite our entrance into Japan?
Okay, so the main thing is that you can use the website, that's Visit Japan Web, and I do have a video that's 5 things you must do before visiting Japan. That goes over both the medication and the Visit Japan Web, so I can go ahead and link to that video right now.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of videos out there saying that Japan has changed and all this stuff that talks about a lot of future things that are happening. So be very careful when you're watching those, because a lot of that stuff is not happening until 26, 27, and 28. Right now, what you can do is pre-register at Visit Japan Web. That is the smartest thing you can do to be ready as soon as you arrive. Because if you don't do that, you will be held up at immigration and customs, because you have to fill out forms. And whereas this, if you're all done, you just scan a QR code. It really makes it a lot easier.
So I dropped the direct link as well to Visit Japan Web. You can use one account and put multiple family members on there, but you need to make sure you go through the whole process, not only register them, but register, retrained entry and return, and fill out the immigration customs declaration for each person. So at the end of the Visit Japan Web process, you will have a separate QR code for every person. It's easy to make a mistake, and if you only end up with one QR code and there's multiple of you, you need one QR code per person, and that will help you go through immigration faster at the airport.
Yeah, and if you're wondering about the new gates that they have where you can just walk through quickly, I don't think those have been implemented yet. I have not seen them. We've seen them in other places, like here in Changi Airport in Singapore. They have a beautiful, really new entry in there. The ones that are setting up at Narita and Haneda, we personally haven't seen those yet, but they might be in operation.
But if you're trying to use any sort of train pass while you're in Japan, you really want to get your passport stamped when you enter Japan, because any of the like regional JR passes or the whole Japan Rail Pass, you will need to have that tourist stamp in your passport in order to redeem your pass. So if there is like an automatic ticket gate at immigration, still go up to an officer, get your passport stamped.
That is so true. So that is super important what Heidi just said. If you are going to be riding a train pass, using any type of train pass where you're getting a discount, you absolutely need to have that stamp in your passport. If you do not, you will be denied that pass, and you will have lost your money if you prepaid it. So take that into consideration, and just remember that. That's very, very important.
So at immigration, there will be specific lines for people who already have their QR code ready. So if you have a QR code from Visit Japan Web, you'll go into one of those lines, and there's separate lines for people who are just filling out the paper immigration forms upon arrival. We don't like having to fill out those paper forms, so we much prefer doing it in advance.
Okay, from Navinda, transferring train lines. Can we tap IC cards as base fare and just purchase limited express tickets to avoid exiting and re-entering the train stations?
Yes. Okay. So your question is about limited express. tickets. Yes, I think so. The topic of limited express trains gets a bit complicated. I do have a video that kind of explains it and breaks it down. But yes, if you want to be able to go like all the way from your starting station to your ending and only part of that's a limited express train, you should be able to use your IC card for the base fare and then have your limited express ticket just for the specific portion. That's your...
Where are you trying to go? If you can let us know, we can probably give you a better answer for that. From exactly where to where, because in some places it might be easier just to combine it. I understand what you're trying to do, but
limited express
it
trains
can
are
get confusing.
probably the most confusing
Yes.
trains there are. I have a feeling you may have already watched our video on limited express trains, but I'll link to that real quick, just in case.
Okay, good morning or good evening. Maya, I know you guys mentioned using the Charles Schwab card for ATM transactions. Do you ever use a debit card for regular transactions or only credit card? Is it safe to use a debit card for purchases?
So for a long time, I was a holdout and I wanted to just use the debit card. I like using actual money instead of credit. However, as long-term travelers, we end up getting our card number stolen. And I did have the experience where I tried to pay in a restaurant with my credit card and they said it didn't go through. And so I gave them my debit card instead, and my debit card number was stolen. That was the only place I used it other than the ATM. So I'm pretty sure it was a restaurant in Japan where it got stolen. And so then we had to have our card canceled and a new one sent out to us. So I finally learned my lesson that debit cards just are not as safe for paying for transactions, because if your debit card number gets stolen, people are accessing your actual money in your bank account, and that's real money gone. Whereas if you're using a credit card to pay for purchases, then there's more of a protection, where if it's fraudulent, they'll just reverse the transaction. So now what we do is credit card is for paying at any place that accepts credit card, cash is for places that only accept cash, and our debit card we use only at ATMs to withdraw cash. And if anybody has questions on that, we have a video all about using the ATM in Japan.
Yes, and fire away with questions on that too if you have them here. But yes, we absolutely don't recommend using your debit card anywhere outside of the country for where you're from, because I mean, we've been on the road for over 15 years now, and every single year, at least every single one of our cards, at least once a year, we have some fraud on it and we have to have them replaced. So it is something, you know, to really, I'd say really be extra careful about it, especially your debit card, since again, like Heidi said, the money can be taken right out and then it might take a while before you get it back. Okay, and you have a related question. Also, you and your fiance are taking your first trip to Japan in May. Yay. We want to go to Tokyo Disney Sea, but I've heard that a lot. It's a lot for one day. Would you recommend saving it for another trip?
We want to go to Tokyo Disney Sea.
You're just going to do Tokyo Disney Sea and not Tokyo Disney, right? Just if it's just Tokyo Disney Sea, you can absolutely do it in one day.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's great.
We haven't been since the new Fantasy Springs opened up, so I assume it's even more crowded than when we went last, but we really like Disney Sea because it's unique. It's something you can only do in Japan.
Yeah, and on top of that, Tokyo Disney is, in my opinion, is like twice as crowded.
But that could have been when we visited.
It could have been, but it was in the summertime. It was like peak season, I thought.
But it was before Fantasy Springs, so we don't know exactly like how busy Disney Sea is
but
now.
It's a great new experience. Well worth it. Well worth it. Oh, here's a good one for you. Grant from Granted Works. What would be the youngest age recommended to bring your child to Japan?
Any age, as long as you feel safe with them getting on an airplane. We have traveled with our kids, well, since they're babies, but each of our kids have been long-term travelers since they were 1 year old, and Japan is one of our favorite places to take them because it is so child-friendly. There's kid-friendly bathrooms, there's parks, just like if you're in a neighborhood in Japan, there's a park on every corner. So there's just a lot of child-friendly stuff, and it's really set up so kids can do things independently. Like the food courts will have little kid-sized tables and kid-sized sinks, and so I would take all ages of kids to Japan.
It's really set up for kids. It really is.
Yeah.
Hi, Jimani. Thank you so much for the super chat. You booked a stay at Kamedo Koto, and it is our first time. We get there on October 20th. Is Koto still a good and okay ward to stay? Also, is it easy access? Absolutely. We like the Koto ward a lot. We usually stay right next to it. And really, you know, you need to think about what are you going to be doing in the area, you know, and are you near a station? So What are you planning on doing, and are you near a station? As long as you're near a station, then you're halfway there already. I'd say it's best to be within 5-10 minutes of walking distance to a station. And then, are there things to do in your area? Otherwise, you could spend up to an hour on a train, depending on the time of day of where you need to go. But it's a nice, quieter side of town, and there's nearby museums as well. So yeah, I think it's a fine location to be.
Whenever we make videos of like the top locations, it's just to give people a good sense and a good idea, and it doesn't mean that somewhere else isn't necessarily a good place as well.
Okay, hi Earl. Similar to Maya, I'm curious about a no-fee international debit card options. So
Because we're from the United States, we use the Charles Schwab debit card just because you really can't beat it. That one, it doesn't charge foreign transaction fees. And also, if the ATM we use charges a fee, then we get reimbursed at the end of the month, any of those fees. And then the exchange rate is really good based on like Visa exchange rate. So that's the one we use. I don't know if you're aware of any other ones.
So I've heard that also like Fidelity has a card too. So if you belong to the Fidelity, if you have like an account with Fidelity, again, it's if only if United States that they have something equally as good. I've been told. I haven't actually seen that myself. Otherwise, Wise is a second good option. The issue with Wise, and I talked about this in our recent video about cards, which cards to use, is that as far as using it is with the ATM, your limit per month is 30,000 yen before you are charged any fees. That comes out to about US $200, I believe. And then also you cannot withdraw. Now I'm already forgetting. Is it anything over a certain limit amount? You're also charged a small percentage too. So you need to take those things into consideration. But what makes Wise really good is that if you use Wise, it's smart enough to know, let's say if you have Japanese yen in your account with Wise and you go use it
To pay for something.
yeah, you go use it as a credit card to pay for something. It automatically knows to use Japanese yen as your currency. So you don't have to do any currency conversion. You don't have to worry about any market fees or anything like that because it automatically knows, unless you have set it into your account to use a different currency, which you don't want to do because you want it to actually choose the automatic currency that you have. So if you're coming to Japan, and you just put the yen in your account ahead of time, then it will automatically choose yen and you'll get a better conversion rate. Where, to start with, Wise is good with that because it has a good conversion rate when you bring in your money and convert it into yen. So I would say Wise is a good second option for that.
I just linked to our video on which cards to use in Japan, and if you're from somewhere other than the US, you might want to look through the comments on there because I know some people commented from other countries which cards work well from their country. If you're new here to KENSHOQUEST, please do check out our channel because we have videos answering pretty much all of these questions in detail.
Hi, Irene. Would I be able to purchase a Hakone Free Pass and upgrade to the Romance car on Klook?
So if you purchase your Hakone Free Pass on Klook, you're going to need to go into the Odakyu Sightseeing Service Center located at Shinjuku West Station to pick up your actual pass. And when you pick up your actual pass at that time, you could pay to upgrade to the Romance car, which is a limited express train. Or if you want to be able to pay ahead of time to upgrade to the Romance car through the Odakyu website, you can pay that surcharge online. I can drop the link to that real quick. But Klook won't allow you to do the upgrade to the Romance car. It has to be through Odakyu. Let me see if I can pull up the link real quick. And we have multiple videos on visiting Hakone, whether you want to do just a day trip. I have a video on the one-day sightseeing loop. If you want to do an overnight trip, we have a video on that as well.
Hi, Coleslaw. Sorry, but no, we have never been to the Nakatajima sand dunes, not yet. So can't give you an answer on that. So if anybody else wants to chime in, that'd be great.
Okay, I've just put the link in the chat box for paying the Romance car surcharge online, but the easiest way would just be to pay it at the station when you pick up your Hakone Free Pass.
And from Polka Dots, is it better to bring mosquito repellent from your own country or buy in Japan?
I guess either way goes. I mean, we've done both. I personally don't like to travel with a lot of liquids, so I wouldn't pack like a liquid insect repellent, but these days there's like a lot of stickers you can just stick on. We also have like a solid one that you can rub on, so I don't mind packing and traveling with something like that that's in a solid form, but if you don't want to have to bother with packing it, they definitely sell at drugstores in Japan. You can find insect repellent. And if you're going like in the summer and you're going anywhere outside of the city, then it's really a good idea to have, because when you get in those more grassy nature fields, the mosquitoes can be really bad.
Aloha, Gretchen-chan. Want to book a private transfer from Sheraton for a reserved Shinkansen. Klook does not allow me to specify the hotel pickup. Do you recommend any other private transport company to use?
So from the Sheraton to Tokyo Station
Yeah,
to get the Shinkansen, where is it that you're trying to get on the Shinkansen?
So you're trying to book a private transfer from your hotel to the Shinkansen.
It might be easier to do a taxi.
Yeah. So what I would do, the easiest thing to do is I would just go to the front desk of the hotel and ask them to book you a hotel. I mean, a taxi. That would be the easiest way. You'll get a good rate and everything by that. So
ask the Sheraton reception to book you a taxi to take you to the station.
Yep.
And if you are asking about going to Tokyo Station, which entrance is it? The Yaesu?
The Yaesu. So yeah, if you're going to Tokyo Station, if you are going to get on the Shinkansen, go to the Yaesu exit. Actually, if you just tell them Tokyo Station, Shinkansen, they will take you directly there. Because the last thing you want to do is be taken to the other side, which is going to take you a half an hour to get back to the front. So yes, tell them you want to go to the Shinkansen gate. And just all you need to do is tell that all to the front desk. They'll set that up for you like the night before. Oh, and by the way, we used to live right next to Manoa. Never quite in Manoa. All right. Hi, Shay. I wanted to pre-book my train from Narita to Shibuya. However, I am worried about buying a reserved seat in case my flight is delayed for any reason. Recommendation.
My personal recommendation is just wait and not pre-book it, because with these type of trains, you can just get your ticket once you arrive, and we really never know how long it's going to take to get through immigration. There's times when you can get through fast, and then there's times when it's a crowded time of year and it takes hours. So if you are worried about, making the certain time, personally, I would say just wait and buy that ticket when you're already there.
Especially Narita, because the place can be a complete madness at times, and it can really slow you down. And the second reason is the seats on both the Narita and Express, as well as the Keisei, Scott, you would be taking the Narita Express for this. Most of the seats are reserved only. That means if you missed your train and you wanted to get on another one, you're going to have to stand, which is going to be no fun. So definitely wait on that, unless it was the absolute last train of the night that you were trying to catch. Hi, Eagle. Have you ever been to the Friendship Festival at Yokota Air Force Base? Yes, we have.
Oh, yeah, one time our friends took us.
Yeah.
We have friends who work on base.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, I mean, even though it's on American base, it's more Japanese style, so it's still a very good cultural experience, I would say.
There was entertainment and stuff. Our son enjoyed it as well.
Very good for kids.
Go inside a helicopter.
Very good for kids. Hi, Ariel. I'm traveling October 22nd for a month. Tokyo, Fuji, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, Onomichi, Takayama, Kanazawa, back to Tokyo. Any tips? Just a backpack.
Well, just the backpack will definitely help you to travel on whatever forms of transportation. Because once you go like the Fuji area, you might be having to take some buses to get back on to the Shinkansen. So just having a backpack that can go on your lap is really helpful.
I guess think about, are you looking to save money and go budget-wise, or are you looking to get places faster? Then you can decide whether or not you want to take the Shinkansen. So first of all, if you're going to go from Tokyo to Fuji, there's no Shinkansen from that route. You can either take a bus or you can take the Fuji excursion. And then from that route, you can cut across to Mishima and then hop on the Shinkansen to Kyoto and Osaka. And then from there, you might consider getting like the Kansai area pass to go to Hiroshima that we were just talking about earlier as well. And then working your way back up. I don't know if you would need any other passes.
Yeah, because with that long term, like the JR passes don't necessarily pay off. It's usually better buying each segment on your own if you want to be taking your time more.
And if you're traveling solo, just make sure you also have health insurance. That's a lot of questions we get from solo travelers, especially female, is about what happens if they get hurt or something like that. So, please carry health insurance. The good thing is that healthcare in Japan is pretty cheap and very good at the same time. So hopefully, nothing will happen, but it's always good to have. From Red Goldilocks, do you have discount codes for Wi-Fi? Yes, we do.
Are you looking specifically for pocket Wi-Fi or eSIM? On the description boxes of any of those videos, we'd have all the discount codes. I can see if I can pull up those videos. For anybody who's still looking for pocket Wi-Fi or eSIM, George has a whole series of videos. I'll link to one of ours that includes both pocket Wi-Fi and eSIM, and then you can look in the description box.
Hi, Amanda. Favorite onsen town? I would say the Hakone area is our favorite place, just because we really like the Hakone area, and there's just so many onsens around there to choose, and it's really easy to get to from Tokyo.
I would say that's the main thing. It's the easiest one to do a quick trip from Tokyo, so that's the main reason we've gone.
But it's also just such a beautiful and relaxing place to be able to get somewhere that, relaxing, I would say, even though it's still relatively close to Tokyo. Here's an interesting question from IXOY3. Trying not to be negative, has the no foreigner restaurant establishment increased due to foreigners misbehaving?
We personally don't try to go into a lot of those small little Japanese restaurants anyways, because we have kids and some of them don't even allow kids, or the bar stool seating doesn't work for kids. So those type of restaurants actually weren't ones that we would frequent anyways. And a lot of times it has to do with they don't want people who can't speak Japanese. So if you can go into a restaurant and you can communicate with how many people and where you want to sit and order all fluently in Japanese, then that's not really an issue. I think the reason they're having difficulty with foreigners is foreigners coming in and not even knowing how to communicate, and then it slows down the process. It takes seats away from locals who could be eating. So, I mean, personally, we haven't even encountered it because
we did one time in Sapporo, actually.
Well, there was one that didn't accept kids.
Oh, yeah, it didn't accept kids. But yeah, the key is just to be polite, even when you come to the door. Often what they'll do, the tactic that they'll pull is they'll just tell you reservation only to make you go away. So, but yeah, like Heidi said, there's just so many options out there. I don't think you're going to have to worry about this. If you encounter it, just, unfortunately, just turn around and leave and find somewhere else. But I don't think this is going to ruin your trip or anything. Or certainly don't let that happen. There's plenty of open places.
And for anybody who was asking about the Wi-Fi, I just dropped our link and coupon code for our top recommended eSIM and then also our top recommended pocket Wi-Fi. And anybody still deciding, we have a whole playlist to help you choose the best option.
All right, from Magic in Richmond, renting a compact car in Kyushu. How much luggage will it carry? Any driving tips? When you say compact, there's even smaller cars than that, so I'm not sure.
It can be really small.
What size you're talking about, but at least from our experience, the cars, even though they seem compact, are designed better to be able to handle at least a couple of pieces of luggage. So I would say at least one, large size luggage we've been able to put into any rental that we've had. But as far as driving tips, they really follow the law, and you make sure that when you come to a stop, you come to a complete stop, no turning on a red, like we can do in the United States. That's basically what I can think of. And also make sure that you have your international driver permit, that you get that before you come to Japan, because otherwise they're not going to rent you the car. And of course, bring your passport with you and your driver license.
Yeah, and maybe just double check on the car rental website if they have something that specifies how much luggage it can fit, because sometimes they'll have those details on the rental website.
Hi, Bill. How to go to Hakuba to ski from Ginza. So you're going to want to take the Hokuriku Shinkansen from either Tokyo Station or Ueno Station to Nagano Station. And from Nagano Station, you're going to take the Shinano Express to Matsumoto. From Matsumoto, you can take a bus to Hakuba. So when you get to Nagano, you can find out all the information about how to get to Hakuba from there. There might even be some information at the Ueno Station where they, because that's more of the launching point to go to the region, but you can certainly get on it at Tokyo Station as well. So again, the quickest way to get there is take the Hokuriku Shinkansen from Tokyo or Ueno Station to Nagano Station. From Nagano Station, take the Shinano Express to Matsumoto Station. And from Matsumoto Station, you'll take a variety of different buses from there to Hakuba. Oh, since you're coming from Ginza, just go to Tokyo Station. Hi, Patricia. How possible is it to eat a plant-based diet while traveling in Japan? So for sure, there are certainly a lot of Indian and Nepalese restaurants now all over Japan. They're just, in the last 10 years, they've just popped up everywhere, and there seems like a new one every day.
So those are good
So those
options
are good
for
options.
vegan. Also, as well, if you find like a Buddhist, like if you're near a Buddhist temple or something, there might be a Buddhist restaurant, and those might also be an option as well.
Yes. But also, if you just did a search, like with
vegan.
Google Maps for like vegan or vegetarian, a ton of options are going to come up. You will not have a problem, I don't think. Maybe in the most remote towns, you might have a problem, as a lot of things are, made with fish-based sauce or things like that. So, yeah, unless you're in the most remote places, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
There's always convenience stores back up. They often have things like pre-cut vegetable sticks, pre-cut fruit.
That's true.
So
That's
there's
true.
some items you could buy even at a convenience store that's actual food.
Yeah, and if you look for the Lawson 100, so there's a lot of Lawson Station stores, but they have one called Lawson 100. That one in particular, they carry lots of vegetables, and where you'd be able to, get a lot of fresh vegetables that you could just eat as well.
7-Eleven has like where you can blend up a smoothie, fruit smoothie.
Hi, Math Doctor. What's the hardest part about traveling in Japan that most tourists don't realize until they're here?
Maybe the trains. I'd say don't feel bad if you get on the train and realize it's going the wrong direction, because we still do that quite a bit. Often if we're in a rush and we're like, there's a train on the platform, jump on, and then we realize, well, that wasn't the train going the direction we wanted to go. So even though we try to provide as much information as we can about train travel, it really does take some figuring out when you get there. And we use Google Maps. Google Maps will tell you which platform, which train to get on, but you can still easily get on the wrong one sometimes. So personally, I think that's the hardest part, is learning. And then George speaks some Japanese, which definitely helps us out. When I'm on my own, then I'm a little bit more timid with the language barrier.
Yeah, I would definitely say the transportation is the hardest part. And even when you are at stations, so some of the stations like Shinjuku and Tokyo Station are just complete madness, Shibuya as well. So when you get there, just give yourself extra time. Always give yourself extra time, and try not to be rushed when you're at the stations, because it can really stress you out really fast when there's just a gazillion people rushing around you and you're trying, to find where to go. So just take it slow, try not to be in a rush. I know that's not easy to do sometimes, but that, I think, it really is the key. And I would say the most hard and stressful thing to do.
Yeah, it depends if you're from a big city or small town, how overwhelming.
Aloha, Serrano 808. Yes, all right. Looking to stay close to Tokyo Station. Want to use the limo bus for convenience from Haneda. Flight arrives after 5 p.m. Last bus to to Tokyo Station leaves at 4 p.m. and goes to TCAT after. This true? That sounds a little early to me. I would have to look that up. If you want to take the limo bus, okay. So you can also, for sure, if that is the last bus, you can just go to TCAT, which is nearby. So TCAT is the main airport limo bus terminal. Okay, so for anybody who's flying in and out of Tokyo, either Narita or Haneda, if you want to take a bus either early or late, TCAT is your best option, as they have the most buses, since that is the airport limo bus terminal in Tokyo. So I almost put that in our most recent video that we just made about where to stay in Tokyo, but I decided not to, because while it is a great for transportation, there's not a whole lot to do in the area. So if that is the last bus, then please, yes, just go to TCAT, which is, like I said, it's very nearby. I know that that may not be the best option for you, but at least you know that you do have the option to take the limo bus from TCAT. I find that hard to believe, though, that 4 p.m. would be the latest.
I just linked to our video on how to get from Haneda to Tokyo, and in all of our videos, we put links in the description box below the video, so if you want to look on that video for some more options. Let me see. Okay, I'll link to the airport limousine bus website directly.
Yeah. The other option is I know you want to take the limo buses. You can take the KQ line. The KQ line goes directly from Tokyo Station to Haneda Airport. However, the one that goes direct only happens like once an hour. So you just got to look out for that. The other ones do have a change. So there is one, I'd say, about once an hour. Again, KQ line from Tokyo Station to Haneda. That is direct. Hi, Maya. Do you guys ever use Charles Schwab card for purchase or only ATM? Do you only use credit for purchases? Is it safe to use debit cards for purchases?
I think we already answered this one. So we use our debit card only for the ATM to take out cash. We use credit card for any payments that accept credit card, and we use cash for anything that only takes cash.
And for Math Doctor, what's a regional food you guys enjoy that travelers should try in its hometown?
Apples and almori. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say
Anything that is the specialty is going to be good there.
Yeah. And just try to go into a local restaurant while you're there. And then, they'll have their own version of stuff. Like if you are in Matsumoto or let's say Nagano, they grow soba there. So because that is the region where they grow soba, then you should absolutely have soba in that region, since it's probably going to be the freshest or taste at least different from what you would have, I would say, in Tokyo.
Or say seafood in the coastal areas,
Right.
because they'll be super fresh.
Yeah.
Whatever is the local specialty is probably going to be really good if you get it at its source. Okay.
Hi, Mary Jane. Is it now mandatory to get health insurance? Not yet, but you should. We always think you should have it anyways. They are going to make it mandatory because, unfortunately, you probably already know that a lot of people have been skipping out without paying their medical bills. So.
And Japanese are very into insurance. They have insurance for all kinds of things. Like the kid throws a baseball at your TV and breaks it. Don't worry, I have insurance for that. So they really like to get their insurance to cover them on everything if they're hiking Mount Fuji. And so then they expect that foreigners coming to Japan will also have insurance. So it's just a good idea. The type of travel health insurance we have, it'll just reimburse us afterwards, after we paid the bill. And I did link to that. We personally use Safety Wing Nomad insurance.
It's very cheap, I think, as well, for what you get. All right, for Michael, would you recommend someone? What would you recommend someone do if they get sick in Japan that requires a visit to a clinic or a hospital?
So very fortunately, we've only had this happen once in our travels. Most of the time, if it's something really minor, we were able to just go to a drugstore, and there's an actual pharmacist in the drugstore, and tell them, and they were able to help give us the medication. One time we had something more serious, and luckily we were staying at a nice hotel that had a great reception, and so they actually called around, found us an English-speaking doctor, made us an appointment, scheduled a taxi that knew exactly where to take us and drop us off. And so it was pretty much the hotel took care of it all for us. We saw the English doctor. We did just pay out of pocket for that bill because it wasn't too bad. And the longest part of all of it was just like sitting at the pharmacy attached to the hospital waiting to fill our prescription for the medication.
I can guarantee you that it will be way faster than any clinic you would walk into the United States.
To be seen by the doctor was really fast.
Yes.
And was it less than $100 each?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think less than $100 each for having seen a doctor and got medication.
It was the medication that was actually the most expensive part for us.
So for being from the U.S., it's inexpensive.
Right.
We've even had an incident that involved needing an ambulance, and that didn't charge us anything in the particular situation we were in.
Yes.
Our insurance would have covered if we needed an ambulance to take us to the hospital, which we didn't. It's kind of complicated.
Right.
But like just for ambulance to show up and help out, it didn't cost us anything.
Yes. It was unbelievable. Anyways, also I just wanted to add, if you have to go to a clinic or hospital, you are required to wear a mask. And
yes.
Hospitals.
We had to buy masks from a vending machine since we showed up without masks.
So just something to keep in mind. Hi, Jack Tweenty. Have you guys experienced taking a short connecting flight, 1.5 hours from Haneda T3 to T1? Is it possible to make it within the time? 1.5 hours is really close. So if you are arriving from international and you're just giving yourself 1.5 hours to get to T1, it's really going to come down to how quickly you get through immigration. So if you're saying, after I've cleared customs and I'm out of the gate already, well, can I get there in 1.5 hours? Yes. But if you have not cleared immigration and customs, maybe not. It's going to be really, really close because it's quite a distance. You have to either take the bus or the monorail. Take the monorail. It's a little bit faster than the bus. And then once you get to T1, depending on where your flight is, like we fly usually, if we're going to go domestic, we usually fly to Sapporo from there. And it's quite a walk on the people mover that you have to go. And I would say it would be really close. So make sure you fill out your Visit Japan web and everything ahead of time. And if possible, have your luggage checked all the way through, if that's possible, because that will slow you down too. If you have to recheck your luggage, yeah, that's going to be cutting it really, really close. Paquito Con, hi. Hello, I am from Spain. I went to Japan this last November. Our first day in Japan, we found out my girlfriend was pregnant. Now we want to go back with our baby in December. Do you recommend?
I do personally. I mean, as long as you're comfortable with your baby flying on the airplane, just because they can be exposed to a lot of germs. Okay. They're saying if you can go back to Paquito's one, the Spaniel with the baby, because I guess it went out already.
Can you guys hear us?
Uh, can you hear us now? Let's see. Is the sound back? Can anybody type in if you can hear us? Okay, let us know, please, if you can hear us now. Can you go back to his question?
Okay.
We cut up there. Okay, you can hear us?
Are we back?
Okay, so we're
Sorry, guys. So
we're gonna go back.
gonna go back to Paquito's question. I'm from Spain. Went to Japan last year in November. Our first day in Japan, we found out my girlfriend was pregnant. Now we want to go back with our baby in December. Do you recommend it?
Congratulations. And so my answer I was saying is I do recommend traveling with any age, as long as you're okay with taking the baby on the airplane, because there are a lot of germs on the airplane. But Japan is very well set up for traveling with babies or kids. There's often like baby care rooms where there's places to change diaper, hot water for bottles, somewhere to sit to breastfeed. So I think Japan's a great place to be traveling with a baby.
And if you want to get away from the madness, just go into a shopping mall, because the shopping malls always have a place, a good place to take to care for your babies too. I think is a really good place. But yeah, it's from any age, from babies all the way up for kids. Japan is really set up for kids. So yeah. All right, Robin, when traveling from Tokyo to Kanazawa, would you prefer to stop at Nagano or Nagoya? So we would prefer to go through Nagano, just because it's going to be much faster to get there, because you can take the Hokuriku Shinkansen from Tokyo directly to Kanazawa through Nagano. If you go the Nagoya route, you're going to have to go all the way around a much farther loop, and part of the way you can't even take the Shinkansen. So actually, you could go take it, but it's a longer route. You'd have to go through Kyoto. So I think you need to think about time and what do you want to do. If there's things that you prefer to do in Nagoya, like you want to go to Ghibli Park, then go through Nagoya. But if you want to go to Nagano to go skiing or see temples over there, then go that route, and then take the time consideration as well.
Okay, so the next one after that.
All right, from Trisket 19, when using Yamato boxed, box as checked baggage. How do you attach a luggage tag?
They just stick it on. Those luggage tags actually have like a sticker portion on it. We
Yeah.
haven't had any trouble with it falling off or anything.
But as far as any other type of tag, we don't add any other type of tag onto it. We just write, you know, our name and address on the box and stuff. And then you just check it like a regular piece of luggage.
That's one of his hacks in his hack video. If you don't want to buy a suitcase, buy a box from Yamato Transport and check it in.
Yeah, $2 US dollars. Hi, Jose. Hi, thank you for your videos. I've watched most of them and they've helped me plan our trip. Would you recommend taking the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Hiroshima or flying for a family of 4? So I would say that depends on your time. Like flying might be faster, and I say might be because you still got to get to the airport in Tokyo, which can be far depending on where you are, and then, you know, check in and all that. If you take the Shinkansen, it's going to take you at least 3.5 hours to get there. But you can take a direct Shinkansen from Tokyo to Hiroshima. It will stop in a few places along the way.
We personally like trains, so our family almost always opts for the train when that's an option.
Yeah, especially if I see you have young kids. I would take the train. It's so much easier. You don't got to check in anything, right? You just go through the gate, you bring your luggage on, and you sit and enjoy the trip. And there's so much your kids can walk around. You know, there's clean restrooms you can go to. Yeah, it's just so much more comfortable.
Bring food with you on the train because they don't sell food on the Shinkansen anymore. So buy it at the station, bring food on the train, lots of snacks. That's how we entertain our kids. Very good point.
When that train stops, it's going to stop the longest in Osaka Station. Don't think you can get out and buy food, okay? You might miss your train getting back on. It will not wait for you.
I timed it once and the Shinkansen stopped for like 59 seconds at a station. So buy your food before you board.
Hi, Osvaldo. Are domestic flights within Japan a pain hassle? And what airlines do you recommend?
We do fly sometimes when we're trying to go somewhere far, like Tokyo up to Sapporo and Hokkaido. We just don't like that you have to check in, go through security, maybe have your bags weighed, and that whole process takes a while. Whereas when you go to get on a Shinkansen, you can pretty much just go get right on your train. But if you're going a far distance, we do sometimes fly. At JAL, I guess we fly Japan Airlines.
If we fly JAL or ANA, they don't check our bags. It's way easier. It's a lot less hassle for you. You fly any of the other lines, like they're all low-cost carriers.
Low cost.
Peach, Airdo, you know, they're going to check. They're going to weigh your bag. It's going to it's painful.
We don't like dealing with it.
Hi, I challenge your project. Ticket purchase question. Our plan was to use the Japan Rail Pass for the standard fare to Kawaguchiko combined with the Fuji Limited Express. Am I on the right track?
Well, one, are you getting the whole Japan Rail Pass because you're traveling throughout Japan, going to a different city every night? Because that's really the only type of situation that we recommend getting the whole Japan Rail Pass if you're constantly on the move. And then if you are, for that reason, getting the whole Japan Rail Pass, it doesn't take you all the way to Kawaguchiko. It covers the base fare as far as Otsuki Station, and then there's a little segment, Otsuki Station at Kawaguchiko, that you actually have to pay for separately because it switches to Fujiku Railway. There are many railways in Japan, and they are not all JR ones, so there would be a portion. We have a video on how to get to Mount Fuji that might explain that a bit better. But if you're talking about the Tokyo-wide pass, that is the one regional pass that will take you all the way to Kawaguchiko Station. So when you say Japan Rail Pass, you need clarification if that's a whole Japan Rail Pass or a different one.
Yeah, but actually, there's only one pass that would cover all the way, and that is the Tokyo-wide pass. If you are thinking about getting any other passes, including the whole JR pass, then, like Heidi said, it only covers the Otsuki Station, but it's not a big deal. You could just stay on the train, and once you get to Kawaguchiko Station, you will pay the balance there. There will be a separate line that says, JR Pass ticket holders, pay here. They've tried to simplify it because it caused so much confusion over the years.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconception of people thinking like all trains in Japan are JR, and they're not. There are other railways.
There's literally over 100 different rail companies in Japan. JR is just the biggest. And here's a related question, I say, also from Jamani. If you purchase the 14-day JR Pass, does it also include regular trains or only the Shinkansen?
So it only includes regular local JR trains. So for instance, if you're in Tokyo, there'll be some above ground JR trains, such as the Yamanote loop line that will take you around. But there are also subways and metros in Japan, and those subway in Tokyo, the subway and metro are not covered by the JR Pass. So it'll only cover local trains that are JR trains. We have a couple videos more about the JR Pass.
Yeah, and it will cover some buses as well. The good thing is it does cover JR, all the JR companies all over Japan. So that is the beauty of it. And you can hop on and hop off. And that's why we really like the JR Pass still, is because of the convenience that it offers. So what I would do is I would also get an IC card, because there are most likely going to be times when you're going to want to ride different transportation. And it's just so much easier to have an IC card versus having to figure out what your fare is and put money in the machine and stuff.
I just put a link to our beginner's guide to the JR Pass, so that will kind of explain the basics to you about the JR Pass. We also have videos to help you calculate if it's worth it for your trip. It's really worth it on those trips where you're going a long train trip, traveling from city to city to city.
Hi, Susie. Is it always expensive to travel to Tokyo during Christmas time? Example, the 23rd to the 2nd?
I don't
Not
think
really.
so. December tends to be more lower season in Tokyo. It could pick up a little bit because that's actually more New Year's that you're getting into there.
Yeah.
So there is a New Year holiday that could be celebrated anywhere from like December 29th through about January 3rd. And so some government places, parks, museums will close during that time. Some stores will close on January 1st. So it's more that you're looking at the New Year holiday, because Christmas isn't really so celebrated. It's not like a national holiday in Japan. We have been there around that time of year, but I guess we just didn't try to travel anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kinda
So,
stayed
yeah, a
put.
couple of times we've been there, but we were in Sapporo. Actually, one time we were in Tokyo, but we didn't notice it. It's just starting from around the 28th is when things can get more expensive, and that's because of that's when the Japanese go on holiday.
Yeah, the New Year's holiday. So a lot of people will have off of work.
Hi, Katrina. Is it more cost effective to take the Shinkansen to Hokkaido or to fly?
Flying's faster. Cost, I'm not sure.
It can be cheaper to fly. If you book in advance, then certainly it can be cheaper to fly. Sometimes it's expensive. So I would just check the cost, but it's definitely way faster. It's going to take you 8 hours on the Shinkansen, as well as an express train combination to get to, I would say, to Sapporo from Tokyo.
That's the problem, is it's not the Shinkansen the whole way. The Shinkansen is fast, but then you have to switch at Hokuto. You have to switch
station, yeah,
to a limited express train, and that is like painfully slow for the distance you're going. It's like an 8-hour trip.
Yeah, 8 hours. Because you can get crazy fast from Tokyo all the way up to the island of Hokkaido. But as soon as you get there, you got to switch to an express train, which is painfully slow. But it's a beautiful ride.
We've done both multiple times, flown or taken the train.
From TLM, will Shibuya Sky be really crowded on Halloween? Oh, it's going to be for sure. Of course, we want sunset tickets. Impossible? Yeah, it's going to be really hard. Is 10:30 better bet? Klook or buy directly from Shibuya Sky?
In that kind of instance, you might want to buy direct, and you would need to buy the instant that tickets are released. So
they've recently changed it to 2 weeks now.
To 2 weeks out. You can, I believe,
that makes it really hard.
Double check the website, but I believe you can only buy them 2 weeks out, and you need to have like an alarm set. I don't know exactly what time they release those, because yes, that is going to be very high demand. People are going to be trying to buy those, and especially the sunset time slot just always sells out first as well. You could go earlier in the day and like stay.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Unless they have a specific event. Sometimes they have specific events and they'll like limit, but I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to check that if they are going to be having a special event.
Yeah, I double checked the Shibuya Sky website, since that is a holiday.
Hi, John. I'm going to Japan in November. Can I wait till I'm there to buy the bullet train tickets for the Mount Fuji Express tickets? Should I buy those tickets earlier?
Okay, so that's two different questions. That's not super, well, I guess it's somewhat busy time of year, but it's not one of the Japanese holiday seasons. So I think buying your bullet train tickets once you're there is okay. I always buy them at least one day in advance, just because if you want a certain time slot and you wait until you get to the train station day of, that time slot might all be taken. However, for the Mount Fuji Express, that is a limited express train, and you can purchase tickets 1 month in advance. And I would set a marker on your calendar and buy your Fuji Express tickets 1 month in advance. You can buy them online either through Klook or through the Equinet JR East website, because the Fuji excursion, they do sell out. And if you're not able to get Fuji excursion to go to Mount Fuji, you could instead take a highway bus, which is a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper. But bullet train tickets, like especially if you're going south to Kyoto and Osaka, there's so many trains a day, you'll be able to get a train, but Fuji excursion will fill up.
Hi, Sangamitra. Sorry, I'm sure I'm butchering your name. I apologize. We can't use chopsticks. Is it okay if we use our disposable knife and fork? Is it rude? Absolutely okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely
Like, since we have young kids, we'll often ask for a spoon or a fork, and the restaurants usually provide them.
Yeah.
But also, if you bring your own, that's fine.
And it's absolutely fine to ask for a fork or a spoon. Absolutely fine. No problem at all. And if anything, they might chuckle, if they see you pull out yours. So no problem.
What would you say? Forko arimasu?
You can say foku arimasu ka? Foku arimasu ka? For a fork, a knifeu arimasu ka? Do you have a knife? Do you have a fork? Foku arimasu ka? Knifeu arimasu ka? Or spoon arimasu ka? Do you have?
If you bring your own, that would be fine as well.
Yeah, it's not rude at all. That's perfectly fine. Hi, Michael. Can you help me with a question? I'm trying to decide on the best transportation option from Osaka Kansai to the Mercure Namba Hotel. My wife is about 7 months pregnant and... Sure. Okay. So if you are going directly to Namba, what I would do is I would take the Nankai Express. It goes directly to Namba. So from Kansai Airport Station, which is connected to the Osaka Airport, as soon as you walk out, you can buy your ticket right there for the Nankai Limited Express train, and it's going to take you about an hour, and it'll take you right to Namba Station, and it'll drop you right there. And I believe the Mercure is right there as well. And you're going to get out and you'll be like, wow, because it's an amazing place, especially at night. Hi, Felix Gato. Any recommendation for Culture Day in Tokyo? Will it be crowded that weekend?
I'm not too familiar with that one. There are so many holidays, and unless we've specifically been there on that holiday, I can't say much about it.
Yeah. Honestly, we can't. But regardless of when these festivals are happening, we really haven't had any issue of getting anywhere we need to go, like through other festivals that we've been in Japan and in Tokyo in general. I would participate if you can. Definitely join in and watch, and because these are amazing experiences that for a lot of people will be once in a lifetime. So if anything, try to enjoy it, I say, and participate if possible.
Maybe just do a search online for more details, since we're not familiar with that.
Hi, Sully. Any good Christmas light places at the end of November?
Yes. I think I already have a Google Maps list that I shared in one of my videos. I'll see if I can pull it up. But is it Roppongi? There's quite a few places. There's multiple places around Tokyo that have winter illuminations, and they do go from like the end of November till December 25th. Let me see if I can find my map for you. You can go ahead.
Okay, Michael, so you're wondering about if you should rent a car from the airport or send your large suitcases to the hotel and then take the train to Namba. You can certainly do both of those options. You can use either Yamato or Sagawa Express directly from the airport. Even ABC, JAL ABC has an option for that too. So you can use those three services if you want to ship your suitcase. But also you could take those on to the train. If you only have one suitcase, you could take that onto the Nankai Express as well if you want to. That's certainly an option to you. And renting a car, if you have driven on the left side of the road before, then that's certainly an option as well. If you have not, I don't recommend it, especially since your wife is pregnant. I wouldn't do that. But the roads in Japan are, in my opinion, are easier to drive than in some of the other countries in Asia.
Sorry, I just realized the list I have of illuminations is not a public list, but I'll link to a different website that has some of the winter illuminations.
Yeah, and once you get at Anamba Station, it's a very large station. So when you get out, yes, there will be taxis. So just try to follow the signs for where you can get to the taxi.
Tokyo Midtown is one of the best places for seeing the lights in Tokyo area.
And thank you, Jose, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Hippo character repeatedly points to the streamer while chanting "Get good." I I don't know what that means. Sorry. And then also thank you from Thomas Tang. Hello, Kensho. We will be traveling to Japan on the 1st of January for 27 days. How quiet will the first week be? How likely will we see snow in Kyoto? Great show, by the way. Oh, thank you.
You'll be during the New Year holiday there at the beginning, so some things might be closed through January 3rd.
Yeah. As far as quiet, yeah, it's just going to feel like, excuse me, like a regular day in general. If you are going to be in Kyoto during that time, I'd say 50-50 chance of snow. So we were there a couple of years ago in January in Kyoto, and it was so cold. But it didn't snow, and then the day we were leaving, it snowed like crazy for like 3 days. So that was around January 5th. No, I think it was around the 20th, actually. So yeah, I think you have a high chance of snow, but no guarantee. You just never know with Japan. You just never know. Because like this past year in Osaka at the end of February, it was snowing like crazy one day. We just could not believe it. We were at Universal Studios actually, and it just started just snowing like so hard. So
but it's really hit or miss.
Yeah.
In both Kyoto and Tokyo, you don't know if you're going to
hit or
get
miss.
snow or not.
Yeah. So we can't tell you for sure. All right, we've just reached an hour here, so we're just going to answer a couple more questions and wrap it up because our kids are demanding our attention at this time. So
if there's any questions that we don't get to during the live, you can always ask a question on any of our videos on KENSHOQUEST. If you're new here, please do check out the videos because we have ones that go into a lot of detail answering these related questions. And if you're new, please also subscribe to KENSHOQUEST.
DY Hendry, spending a month in Japan, October, November, then heading to Cambodia. Is it best to use a locker to store my warmer clothes and have a lighter jacket? Is the locker available for monthly rental? All right, so you have a couple of options for that. You can use a service called ECBO Cloak. That's ECBO Cloak. Maybe we can link to that video on storing.
Where to store luggage.
Yeah, where to store luggage in Japan. That's probably going to be your cheaper option because you cannot use the coin lockers for more than a couple days at a time. So, but places like ECBO Cloak, what they do, it's like a social sharing place where like stores in coffee shops, some 7-Elevens and places like that will store your luggage for you. And these are perfectly safe places to store your luggage. Or you could go to ABC, JAL ABC at the airport. They will store it for an extended period of time, but it's costly. They charge like 1,000 yen per day. So that can add up. They also have one of those in the Gransta station, Gransta area of Tokyo Station. They have luggage storages where you can store for up to a month as well. Again, those can be up to 1,000 yen per day. So take that into consideration.
I just put a link to our video on where to store luggage in Japan and also a link to the ECBO Cloak app. But also if you check out that video, there's more links in the description box of the video and options. And I would say just try to pack in thin, light layers. So if you have like a really compressible puffer jacket and you can put it in compression packing cube, you know, maybe it won't take up too much room. So we do often go to multiple climates and we just have things that we can layer. So if you're wearing 3 or 4 layers, you're warm enough for the cold weather. You take off like your puffer jacket and your sweater, and maybe you're ready to go to Cambodia.
Right. Yeah. Hi, Brian. Is it easy to book hotels closer as you get to your trip, or how far in advance should you book?
We recommend it about 6 months out in one of our videos. The thing is, there'll be less options as you get closer, especially if you're family trying to get one of the bigger rooms. And then also prices can go up as you get closer. So we like to look on Expedia. We do work with Expedia, and we have recommendations in our Expedia travel shop for hotels. But what we do is we choose ones that have a really good cancellation policy, super close to the check-in date. So as soon as we can, we go ahead and we reserve some hotels to lock them in. And then if plans change as it gets closer, we could always cancel and book a different hotel.
Right. All right, from Manuel, can you bring sealed guava for a fellow Hispanic friend?
I don't know about
I,
that.
I don't think I would risk it.
Fruit is a risky
Yeah,
one.
fruit is a
Sometimes
very
there's
risky
things
one.
about dried packaged okay, but on a recent trip to Japan, I just like last minute decided not to pack the mango that I had, even though it was dried and packaged. Definitely check the rules because fruit is something that can be an issue when traveling from country to country.
Hi, Cody, traveling from Tokyo to Osaka in a week. Any tips on travel to and from? If you're going, if you are, well, if you're going back and forth, you don't need the JR pass, first of all, if you're just going to be going to those locations. So just take a Shinkansen from the Tokaido Shinkansen from Tokyo to Osaka. Anything else? Can you think of anything else?
Just taking the Shinkansen.
Yeah, that would be the fastest and most efficient way to get there. Hi, Andy. Is sports day a bad day for USJ or just any day a bad day?
Yeah, I don't know specifically about sports day if a lot of people go to USJ. I know that Halloween tickets have sold out before for USJ. Yeah, it's going to be crowded. My tip for visiting USJ, if you don't have an express pass, is to get in line 2 hours before the listed opening time. So if the USJ website says that it opens at 9 a.m. that day, be in line at 7 a.m. to try to get in as fast as possible, especially if you're trying to get into Super Nintendo World. That way you can walk very quickly to Super Nintendo World, or if they've already started requiring area timed entry, you can use the USJ app on your phone and try to schedule an area timed entry for the Super Nintendo area. But sorry, I don't know specifically if sports day. I mean, if that's a day that people have off of school, then it might be more crowded.
Okay, just real quick, we already touched on this from Sam. Is it easy to redeem train tickets purchased online? In general, yes, you can. They're pretty easy to do. And like Heidi mentioned earlier, most of them are now through via QR code, so you could just use your phone on it. Otherwise, you can also redeem them either by visiting a JR ticket office or from the ticket vending machine.
And we have videos that walk you through step by step.
Susie, could you go back and respond about traveling in December? We are thinking about going at the end of December as well.
December tends to be low season, so it might be less crowded. You might get better hotel prices. Like in Tokyo area, that's low season. If you go somewhere like Hokkaido, it might be more popular. Just be aware of the New Year holiday. So anywhere from around December 29th through January 3rd, certain things could be closed. There can be more local Japanese traveling, so things like the Shinkansen might get more crowded. But December is a good time to take advantage of low season.
Yeah.
I would say particularly if you went the very first week of December, because then you might catch the fall leaves, which can linger into December, and then you would also have like winter illuminations similar to Christmas lights. So first week of December could be a good hack to get lower prices and a very enjoyable time of year.
From Andrew, what ryokans do you recommend in Hakone for a traditional onsen experience? We do not mind the cost. Any specific areas to stay in Hakone?
Okay, a little while ago, I linked in the description box to our recommendations on Hakone, but we have a couple. If you're going Hakone and then continuing on to Mount Fuji, then we recommend staying in the Gora area, because if you're in Gora, it's good transportation to move on to Mount Fuji. Also, there's a lot of museums in that area. Ajisai Ryokan, we have a video about Ajisai Ryokan, and that's in Gora. And then we also really, really love a vacation rental that's on like the southern edge of Lake Ashi. Can you speak more to that one?
Yeah, that one's called the Rakuten Stays Fujimi Terrace. That one you have your own private onsen in your room, and you have a multi-million dollar view of Mount Fuji and the Hakone Shrine Torii Gate. So weather depending, you'll wake up to a beautiful view of the lake and Mount Fuji right in front of you. So it's the only place I think that has such an amazing view. And yes, it's a little on the pricier side. And you need to book that far in advance because it's become so popular now, probably because we talk about it too much. I don't know.
It's meant for families too. So
Right.
if you have more in your group, then the vacation rental is good. But if you want just, and that one's not actually a ryokan.
Yeah, it's not sorry, that's not a ryokan, but it does have a private onsen in your room that has the amazing view. And we also like, the reason why we like Ajisai, we recommend it for a lot of people, especially for first timers, because you can experience it in your privacy. They have indoor and outdoor onsens there, and they also have kaiseki meals that you can buy from them. So you have to order those in advance that are just fantastic. So it's a really nice option, and it's a very quiet area. So in the Gora area, if you do end up staying in there, make sure you choose a place that includes dinner because there are not many restaurants and almost everything closes down by around 7 p.m.
I went
So-
ahead and put a link to our video that's about the ryokan in Gora, Ajisai Ryokan, and I put a link to our video that's about taking an overnight trip to Hakone, which I personally really recommend if you're going either to Hakone or Mount Fuji to actually spend the night, because you get a lot better chance of seeing Mount Fuji, because a lot of times the sky is cloudy and you can't actually see Fuji. So if you go on a day trip, you might miss it. But if you stay overnight, you have a better chance of getting clear skies.
Yeah, and in particular, the winter time is the best time to see Mount Fuji. It's most clear during that time. Okay, we're just going to take a couple more questions here. This one here is from Frederick. Is there a possibility that it'll still be snowing in Tokyo in January?
It's really hit or miss whether or not it snows in Tokyo. I think recent years have seen a bit more snow than other times. And then, what was it as late as
This past
March?
year, it was snowing. March, like the middle of March, it was snowing. It was crazy.
Unfortunately, we were at Costco in Tokyo that day, so it was not the most scenic part of Tokyo to be in. But you really just never know when it might snow.
Yes.
And in Tokyo, it's just like a sprinkling and then it melts. It's not like piled up piles of snow.
All right. Hi, Lori. Do you know or recommend any particular things to do in mid-October for your first trip?
The autumn leaves might be starting to change, so I always like going for walks through parks and gardens. So getting outside and just checking out the leaves might be nice.
Yeah, this is a good time of year where the weather's going to start to change, so it's going to start to cool off. So this is a great time to be outdoors. I'd say perfect time to be visiting parks.
And if you haven't seen our Tokyo 7-day itinerary, that one I included a lot of parks and gardens in. I could link to that video.
Okay, I'm going to take one more question here, and this is from John. Hi, John. Can you explain the Mount Fuji Limited Express train? Do you recommend buying tickets ASAP on the JR website as soon as the dates open?
Okay, so the good thing about the Fuji Excursion Limited Express train is that you can get on it at Shinjuku Station in Tokyo, and it will take you all the way to Kawaguchiko Station. So that's the final station in the Mount Fuji Five Lakes area. And this is an advantage because other trains would require you to transfer partway along the way. So we do like taking it, and you can buy it on the JR East Equinet website 1 month in advance, or you can even pre-order sooner than that on Klook. But then with Klook, they'll assign your seat for you. JR East, you can choose your own seat. We like it. It is a little bit more expensive than taking a highway bus, so that's another option. You can get there a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper if you take a highway or express bus, which will also drop you at Kawaguchiko Station. And then also if you're taking the Fuji excursion going in, you might want to get off sooner than Kawaguchiko Station. If you got off at Shimoyoshida Station, then you could walk uphill about 20 minutes to the really famous Chireito Pagoda viewing spot, which is like what people think of when they think of Mount Fuji. So the train's nice of that. You could get off sooner if you want to do that.
All right, everybody. We're going to have to call it a day here. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for the nice comments that you've left us. I'm sorry we didn't get to them all. We see we got quite, wide range of people from all over the world. I see a lot of people from Australia. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Singapore, United States, everywhere. Thank you so much. We'll try to get to your questions that we haven't answered here on the live and try to...
The best way is if we didn't answer your question, if you can go ahead and leave that question on one of our other videos on our channel, that's the best way for us to see it. We will have this live recorded and on our channel, but it takes a couple hours for this chat box to show up on that. So it's easier if you go and put your comment on one of our videos. And then within a certain amount of time, you could also comment below this video, but it takes a little while.
Yep.
And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to KENSHOQUEST. We're creeping closer to that 100,000 mark. So if you know anybody else, friends, family who are planning to trip to Japan, it'd be great if you could recommend our channel to them. We really do our best to try to make the most helpful videos to help you prepare for your trip.
Sorry, I'm just going to answer one more quick question that I can answer real quick, and then we're going to call it. From Andrew, gluten-free, suitable ramen. In Tokyo, there's a place called Sora no Iro in Tokyo Station in the Ramen Street Underground. That is really good.
We have an option for gluten-free.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again next time here. Bye.
Bye.